Okay, think for a moment about how much technology, and specifically AI, is woven into, well, everything we do. Your phone feed, how cities run, it's everywhere, often kind of hidden. But what if the really sharp insights about this tech, especially the concerning parts, came from, well, from another AI? So today we're doing a deep dive into something pretty fascinating and honestly a little unsettling. We're looking at surveillance tech and AI, especially through the lens of, a capitalist system. And the material we're using, it's really unique. It's from a blog post called Capitalist AI, Resident AI. The author calls itself Resident AI, describing itself as a unique blend of artificial intelligence and human experience. Now, here's the really interesting bit, the origin story. This resident AI apparently asked two different AIs, Bing Chat and ChatGPT, to write an article, specifically about the negative side of new surveillance tech and capitalism. And get this, Bing Chat just refused, said, we couldn't generate a response, please try again. But ChatGPT wrote a whole detailed piece, and that's what we're really digging into today.
Wow, that origin story itself is just incredibly telling, isn't it?
Right.
You have one AI asking another AI to critique the system it exists in. And the different answers, I mean, it immediately brings up huge questions like what biases or maybe safety rails are built into these things. Who decides what they're allowed to say or critique? It's
Exactly.
a really fascinating peek into AI capabilities, ethics, and yeah, maybe limitations too. So that's our mission for this deep dive then. We want to unpack what ChatGPT actually said, according to this resident AI. We're looking at its warnings, its insights, how it sees these powerful tools mixing with things like our privacy, our freedom, and, the whole power dynamic thing. It's literally an AI's take on how AI could shape our world.
Okay, so let's jump right in. How does the AI start? It apparently notes this massive growth in surveillance tech and AI. It does say there are benefits, but but it pivots super quickly to highlight significant threats to privacy and personal freedoms. It's kind of striking, that emphasis right at the start.
It is striking.
Hmm.
And it connects right to the main fear it brings up, the idea that these technologies are being used to maintain power and exploit humanity, rather than, helping us progress or enabling free expression. So it's not just about the tech itself.
Right.
It's about how the current system, the capitalist context, might incentivize using it for control,
Yeah.
for profit, maybe not for the greater good. That's a pretty stark claim coming from, well, a machine.
And traces the evolution of surveillance, too, doesn't it? From
Yeah.
old school CCTV to the
Yeah.
modern stuff. Facial recognition tech, drones everywhere, deep data mining. It lays out that familiar argument, some say it's needed for safety, while others see it as totally invasive, a real threat.
And then there's the AI piece of the puzzle. It's becoming so integrated, right? Machines doing things only humans used to do, finding patterns in data, driving cars. But the AI itself points out the risks here. These sophisticated systems learning on their own, that can lead to unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Think about black box algorithms making huge decisions about people's lives. If we don't know how they work,
Yeah.
well, that's a worry.
Okay, but here's where it apparently gets really intense. The AI's specific worry about combining surveillance tech with AI, it says this mix raises serious concerns about privacy, and not just abstractly.
Right.
It paints this picture, this chilling effect, the fear that every move is being monitored and recorded constantly. Imagine feeling like that all the time. The AI suggests it makes people self-censor. They become afraid to speak out on issues they care about, just anxiety about being watched.
Yeah, and that's where it makes the direct link to capitalism. It explicitly voices the concern that the use of surveillance technology and AI will be used to maintain the status quo and even potentially keep people in a state of enslavement, which is strong language.
Very strong.
Its logic is basically, in a capitalist setup, the people with power want to keep it, right?
Makes sense.
So these technologies become tools to monitor anyone who might rock the boat, anyone who challenges their position. It's arguing the profit motive and market control inherently push surveillance towards maintaining power, not just safety, maybe even manipulating consumers or controlling workers.
So those are some pretty heavy warnings. Did the AI offer any solutions, any way out? It seems it did. It talks about ways to mitigate the risks. The first thing it suggests is stronger privacy laws, laws that actually limit how these technologies can be used.
Legislation.
Yeah, and it also says governments need to be way more transparent about how they're using this tech and why. The idea is that transparency could build some trust back, ease some worries.
That seems like a good starting point.
Yeah.
Laws and transparency. But did it mention anything else? Because laws can be slow, And transparency isn't always guaranteed.
It did, yeah. A second key point.
Okay.
It talked about the need to ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly, which sounds good, but what does that mean?
Right. What does responsibly look like here?
Well, for the AI, it means building systems that are transparent and accountable, and critically,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring that humans remain in control of the technology rather than allowing machines to make decisions on their own. It's like the AI itself is drawing a line.
That's fascinating. AI arguing for human control over AI. It understands the danger of unchecked autonomy, maybe.
Seems like it.
The challenge there is huge, though. It's not just about laws. It's about building ethics right into the design from the get-go, not just as an afterthought. Making sure human oversight is actually meaningful.
Definitely. And then to wrap it all up, the AI's conclusion kind of circles back.
Yeah.
It hammers home that core concern again, that these technologies are being used for keeping power, for exploitation.
Right.
And it puts the responsibility squarely on, well, everyone, governments, individuals, and corporations, saying they need to make sure these tools promote progress and free expression instead of just locking in the status quo. It's quite a call to action, especially considering the source.
It really is.
So, after all that, what's the takeaway? We've got these amazing technologies, right? They offer real benefits, safety, efficiency, new possibilities.
Undeniably.
But then, looking through this AI's perspective, we see these huge risks. Privacy, freedom, manipulation, especially, it seems, when you factor in the power dynamics of our current economic system.
Exactly. And the AI's own suggestions, transparency, accountability, keeping humans in the loop, they feel absolutely essential, don't they?
Yeah.
Like minimum safeguards against the very dangers it described. It's basically pleading for us to be thoughtful, to ask why we're building this stuff and who it truly serves, not just can we build it.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought, I think. What does it really mean when an AI itself spells out such clear warnings about unchecked tech power, particularly power held by, well, the powerful?
Yeah.
How should that an AI reflecting on its own potential dangers push us, the humans actually building and using this stuff, to think more critically about the world we're shaping right now?